When it hits, first of all, very few people survive and everything goes to shit. There's no electricity, no generators work, there's no one pumping oil.
Yellowstone Park, known for its beautiful views and animals, is hiding a big secret underground. In the next 2 weeks, something huge might happen because of the many small earthquakes shaking the park recently. These shakes come from deep inside the earth and could mean that the big volcano under Yellowstone might wake up. This volcano is huge, but has been sleeping for a long time. Join us as we dive into this exciting story, where nature's beauty meets a potent force lurking beneath the surface. The hidden, powerful world below Yellowstone. Beneath the peaceful appearance of Yellowstone National Park, where nature creates beautiful landscapes and animals roam freely, lies a less calm side, a place of constant geological activity. In just the past 2 weeks, almost 200 earthquakes have shaken the ground, bringing a sense of mystery and concern to this seemingly serene place. But these tremors are not unusual. They happen often in the vast area of the park, where the earth moves regularly. Yellowstone seems tranquil with its stunning views and diverse wildlife, but underneath, it's not as peaceful as it appears. The recent earthquakes have disrupted the park's quiet atmosphere and caught the attention of scientists worldwide. People wonder what these tremors mean. Could they be a sign of something bigger brewing underground? As we look into why Yellowstone's ground shakes, there's a feeling of anticipation mixed with worry. The recent earthquakes, especially a significant one measuring 3.1 on the Richter scale, have added to the mystery and concern. These earthquakes, happening within the park's boundaries, show that powerful forces are active beneath the surface. Since the beginning of 2024, Yellowstone has experienced more earthquakes than usual, with some reaching faraway places like Orange County. But these tremors are just small events compared to Yellowstone's long history of geological activity. The park's supervolcano, a massive natural force, is at the heart of this seismic activity, even though the recent tremors have a different cause. While the supervolcano is a significant factor in Yellowstone's geological story, these recent earthquakes raise questions about what else might be happening beneath the park's surface. Scientists are eager to understand the secrets hidden in Yellowstone's rocky exterior. As researchers analyze the seismic data, they notice a trend of increasing activity, which raises concerns about the park's stability. Yellowstone has always been known for its active geology, but the recent surge in earthquakes adds urgency to the ongoing studies. Understanding the significance of these ground-shaking events starts with knowing what lies beneath Yellowstone. The park sits on top of a big caldera, a leftover from ancient volcanic activity that shaped the land we see today. Even though the supervolcano is asleep, Yellowstone isn't still. Underneath, big rock plates move and crash into each other, causing earthquakes. These shakes, though not too strong, show there's a lot of power hiding under Yellowstone's calm appearance. Scientists study data from monitoring stations across the park to learn more about Yellowstone's geology. Each earthquake tells a story, giving clues about how the area works. Yellowstone has always been active, with lots of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions over thousands of years. But the recent increase in earthquakes has people worried about what might happen next. Even though the supervolcano is quiet, the more earthquakes we have, the more we remember that Yellowstone is always changing. Despite the worries, scientists keep a close eye on Yellowstone's earthquakes. They want to understand them better to help keep everyone safe. In Yellowstone's long history, these recent earthquakes are just a small part. But they remind us of how powerful and unpredictable nature can be. As we think about what these earthquakes mean, let's not forget the incredible beauty of Yellowstone. From its amazing geysers to its huge forests, the park shows us how incredible nature can be. While scientists and others watch and wonder about Yellowstone's future, experts like Mike Poland say that earthquakes are normal here. Yellowstone has a lot of earthquakes, but they're not usually a big deal. But looking back, we see that Yellowstone has seen some big earthquakes before. The strongest one was in 1975, and there was another big one in 1959. These events remind us that Yellowstone's calm exterior hides a lot of power beneath the surface. In March last year, deep under Yellowstone Lake's calm waters, a series of seismic events unfolded, setting the stage for an intriguing story. Lasting several days, these tremors reached a peak of 3.0 magnitude, marking 2023's biggest earthquake. But this was just the beginning, as the ground prepared for an unpredictable performance of seismic swarms, Yellowstone's vibrant geological phenomena. In March of the past year, under the calm waters of the northern part of Yellowstone Lake, the ground put on quite a show, a series of shaky movements that lasted for days. Some of these trembles reached a high point of 3.0 on the Richter scale, marking the biggest quake of 2023 in Yellowstone. The pause that followed, a short 24-hour break between a 2.3 and a 1.1 magnitude quake, didn't mean the end. In Yellowstone's unpredictable theater, earthquake swarms are like long plays that unfold over days, even weeks, with breaks of quiet before the ground decides to shake again. These sequences of shaking, though they sometimes get weaker, can stretch out their stories over many months. For example, in December 2023, Yellowstone had a whopping 89 earthquakes, showing how restless things are under the park's calm surface. Seismographs, like careful note-takers, carefully recorded up to 16 quakes during 3 separate swarms, showing a clear pattern of movement under the ground. The many earthquakes happening show just how lively Yellowstone's geology is. Under its peaceful appearance, the ground is always moving, with big rock plates bumping into each other and letting out built-up energy as earthquakes. Even though these tremors might seem short, their effects can spread out for miles around. Communities close to Yellowstone, and even those far away, can feel the shaking as it travels through the ground. Scientists, using fancy technology to monitor things, keep a close eye on these earthquakes, trying to understand Yellowstone's rocky world better. By studying how often earthquakes happen, how strong they are, and where they happen, researchers learn a lot about why Yellowstone's ground moves. The earthquake swarm in December 2023 is just one part of Yellowstone's long story of shaking. Over time, the park has had many such events, each one giving new clues about what's happening deep down in the ground. As scientists look at the data from seismographs, they start to see patterns showing how big rock plates move under Yellowstone. These earthquake swarms, while they might scare some people, actually give scientists a lot of information about what's going on below the surface. Even though Yellowstone's supervolcano isn't very active right now, the earthquakes in December 2023 remind us that the park can be pretty lively. While a big eruption isn't likely, the shaking ground shows that we need to keep studying and watching what's happening. Even when things are uncertain, scientists keep working hard to figure out Yellowstone's secrets. By looking at how earthquakes happen, researchers hope to learn more about what's going on deep underground in the park. In the midst of these regular rumblings, most quakes, barely noticeable to us, happen quietly between Hebgen Lake and the Yellowstone caldera. They come from a deep crack, a scar left by big eruptions millions of years ago. These little shakes have two jobs. They remind us gently of Yellowstone's fiery nature, and they help keep the park's hot springs like Old Faithful running smoothly. The year 1985 was wild for Yellowstone's shaking ground, with a whopping 3,000 small earthquakes in just 3 months. This sudden surge in shaking got scientists wondering if the ground might be sinking, a thing called subsidence, because of what's moving under it. Jump ahead to April 30th, 2007, and the Earth grumbled again with 16 earthquakes. They were small, with magnitudes up to 2.7, but they reminded us that Yellowstone is always on the move. Understanding earthquake swarms and what they mean is tricky. Scientists are still trying to figure out Yellowstone's rocky puzzle. One idea is that these swarms happen because of things like magma or water moving underground, creating pressure and causing earthquakes. Another thought is that these swarms start because of big rocks under the ground bumping into each other, making friction and shaking. Even with lots of research, we're not sure why earthquake swarms happen. Some think they might be a sign that a volcano is getting ready to blow. Others say they're just something that happens naturally, not linked to a volcano waking up. But one thing is clear: Yellowstone's shaking ground keeps scientists and locals curious and a bit worried. Most of the time, the quakes are small and harmless, but there's always a chance of a bigger, more serious one. To learn more about these swarms, scientists use special tools like seismographs, GPS trackers, and satellite pictures. By studying the information from these tools, they hope to understand Yellowstone's restless ground better. In recent years, technology has gotten better, helping scientists watch Yellowstone's shaking more closely than ever before. This better watching has helped us learn more about how Yellowstone's rocks move and has made it easier to guess when there might be more shaking. Think of the areas shaking like a wild party in the world of geology. Between 1983 and 2008, there were about 70 of these parties, with one in December 2008 having over 250 quakes, the biggest being a 3.9. Just when things seemed to calm down, January 2010 brought another 250 tremors in just 2 days. A real shakeup, you could say. The Yellowstone Volcano Observatory's Earthquake Hazards Program is always keeping an eye on these underground surprises. One big quake, a 4.8 on March 30th, 2014, near the Norris Basin, was the strongest since February 22nd, 1980. Even though it was powerful, it didn't cause much trouble, which was lucky for Yellowstone. But history tells us about even bigger shakes, like a massive 7.5 quake 57 years ago, which left a big mark across 600,000 square miles with 18 miles of cracks on the surface. From small to big, these shakes tell a complex story under Yellowstone's beautiful surface, a story that reminds us of the Earth's power and surprises. In August 1959, near Hebgen Lake, just west of Yellowstone, a huge earthquake hit during the busiest tourist time. The dam broke, causing a flood that killed 28 people and created Earthquake Lake. The tale of tremors, stories of disaster and survival. On a tragic night in August 1959, disaster struck near Hebgen Lake, west of Yellowstone, ruining a popular tourist spot during its busiest time. Over 250 people were staying in various places, from fancy cabins to simple campsites, when a powerful earthquake hit just before midnight. The Hebgen Dam broke, sending a wall of water rushing down the canyon, destroying everything in its path. Part of the canyon wall collapsed near Rock Creek Campground, causing a landslide that blocked the river and created Earthquake Lake. Sadly, 28 people died, and 19 were buried under the rubble. The quake didn't just damage the land, it also changed the park's northern geysers, breaking the ground, releasing steam, and turning clear hot springs into muddy pools. Today, the tremors felt in Yellowstone's north are thought to be reminders of the stress from that tragic event. Fast forward to June 1975, when a 6.1 magnitude quake hit the park, causing only minor damage. Scientists say that while big disasters like Hebgen are unlikely in Yellowstone's main area, quakes up to 6.5 magnitude could still happen, like the ones in Norris Geyser Basin in '75. Yellowstone's sensitivity to quakes is impressive. For example, a huge 7.9 magnitude quake in Alaska in 2002, 1,250 miles away, caused hundreds of smaller quakes in Yellowstone, affecting its volcanoes and hot springs. The park's earthquakes, often caused by water mixing with cracks in the ground, fascinate both scientists and the public. In 2023, Yellowstone had about 1,600 quakes, with 80 more later that year, showing that the park is still active. In March of 2023, Yellowstone had a lot more earthquakes than usual. There were 147 of them, and the biggest one measured 2.7 on the Richter scale. Scientists and park rangers took notice of this sudden increase in earthquakes and wanted to find out why. The earthquakes mainly came from the Norris Geyser Basin, an area known for a lot of geological activity. Researchers kept a close eye on all the data from these earthquakes to understand what was happening underground. At the same time, there was another group of earthquakes under Yellowstone Lake. This group had 106 earthquakes, and one of them was as strong as 3.7 on the Richter scale. Having two groups of earthquakes so close together showed how water moving and faults interacting could cause earthquakes in the park. These earthquake groups help scientists understand what's going on below Yellowstone's surface. One idea is that water moving in the park's hydrothermal system might cause earthquakes along the fault lines. When water goes into the rocks under Yellowstone, it might push on the rocks around it, making them move and causing earthquakes. The fact that these earthquake groups were under Yellowstone Lake is important because it shows how water movement affects earthquakes in the park. Yellowstone Lake is big and important for the park's hydrothermal system. The way water and rocks interact under the lake can make earthquakes happen more often and be stronger. In recent years, scientists have gotten better at finding and studying earthquakes in Yellowstone. They use tools like seismographs and GPS sensors to collect data about earthquakes. By looking at how often earthquakes happen, how strong they are, and where they happen, scientists can understand more about what's going on underground in Yellowstone. Yellowstone often has earthquake groups because it's on a very active geological hotspot. Over time, the park has had many earthquakes, some small and some big. It's because of how the Earth's plates move and how volcanoes work under the park. Scientists think that water getting into cracks in the ground triggers these quakes. As water seeps into Yellowstone's rocks, it pushes against them, releasing stored energy as earthquakes. The link between water and quakes in Yellowstone is still being studied. While scientists know water can cause quakes, they're not sure exactly how it happens. One idea is that changes in water levels can make fault lines unstable, causing sudden earthquakes. This process, called fluid-induced seismicity, is seen in other places and likely happens in Yellowstone too. Most of Yellowstone's quakes are small and don't pose a threat, but bigger ones could be dangerous, given the park's volcanic activity. Advanced technology helps scientists track Yellowstone's quakes closely. Seismographs, GPS sensors, and other tools give them data to understand what's happening underground. With over 2,400 quakes in 2022 and more than 2,700 in 2021, nearly half in quick swarms, Yellowstone's quakes still puzzle experts. The ground sinks about an inch each year since 2015, but in summer, it rises a bit from melted snow, like a sponge. In Yellowstone's ever-changing world, small earthquakes add a slight shake to the park. Remarkably, the Norris Geyser Basin stayed safe during the 2023 events, but hints of trouble linger. Stay tuned as we explore Yellowstone's geothermal wonders, where past and present collide in a captivating tale, the potential destruction awakening, the sleeping giant. In the dynamic domain of Yellowstone, the earth quaked, a slight tremor amid the vastness of the park. Remarkably, the Norris Geyser Basin emerged unaffected from the events of 2023, its ancient features enduring the storm of uncertainty. However, this calm masks a deeper unease, as the geyser activity, once vibrant in its display, has waned since the eventful year of 2020. Oh, the magnificent Steamboat Geyser, once a giant among its peers, now fades into obscurity. Where it once boasted 48 grand eruptions, it now only springs to life 9 times yearly, a mere echo of its former grandeur. And let's not forget the dormant giant, the Upper Geyser Basin's sleeping giant geyser, which awoke from its long slumber on that significant November 23rd, a testament to the volatile nature of this harsh landscape. Yet, Yellowstone's restlessness extends beyond geysers. It's a story woven with threads of ancient fury. The narrative of past eruptions intertwines with the very essence of the Snake River Plain, where the land itself bears witness to the workings of geological forces. Here, at the core of Yellowstone, lies the puzzle of a hotspot, its origins a subject of scholarly debate. A mantle plume, they theorize, propels it northeastward, while the constant churn of the Earth's core pulls at its tectonic foundations. Behold, the Yellowstone caldera, a titan among volcanic systems, second only to Sumatra's mighty Lake Toba caldera. A supervolcano, they call it, a name earned through cataclysmic eruptions that formed its vast crater. Stretching over 37 miles long and 18 miles wide, with depths reaching 7 miles, its scale surpasses the efforts of Mount St. Helens. Millennia ago, a single eruption unleashed a torrent of ash and rock, shaping the landscape for ages to come. But this was not its sole act of devastation. Ages ago, it birthed the Island Park caldera and the Huckleberry Ridge tuff, leaving a mark upon the land that time cannot erase. And before that, the fiery heart of Yellowstone unleashed its rage, forming the Henry's Fork caldera and etching the terrain with the enduring Mesa Falls tuff. Scholars tirelessly strive to unravel Yellowstone's fiery history. At Montana State University, minds grapple with the mystery of the Lava Creek tuff, a remnant of an ancient eruption. Yet this was no solitary catastrophe, but a symphony of disorder, with eruptions scattered across the land in a chaotic dance of destruction. The United States Geological Survey is committed to untangling the complex history of Yellowstone's volcanoes, delving into the intricate depths of its geological past. Their research focuses on tracing the paths of lava flows that emerged after ancient eruptions, aiming to reveal the hidden patterns and rhythms of devastation etched into the landscape. Through thorough examination and analysis, scientists at the USGS seek to assemble the puzzle of Yellowstone's volcanic activity, interpreting the clues left behind by centuries of geological upheaval. From the remnants of ancient lava flows to the scars of past eruptions, each piece of evidence offers a glimpse into the park's tumultuous past. Despite years of study, Yellowstone's volcanic past remains mysterious. While scientists have learned much about the park's geology, many mysteries persist. Understanding how past eruptions shape today's landscape remains a puzzle. The U.S. Geological Survey focuses on studying lava flows to understand Yellowstone's volcanic history. By looking at where lava flowed, how old it is, and where it's found, scientists can piece together the park's history. USGS researchers carefully map Yellowstone's lava flows and study their features. They collect data about where the lava flowed and what it looks like. This helps them understand how past eruptions affected the land. USGS scientists also study other signs of Yellowstone's volcanic past, like ash deposit, rocks from eruptions, and calderas. By studying these things, they can learn even more about the park's history. Even though Yellowstone's terrain is tough and it's far from cities, USGS scientists keep studying it. They use advanced tools and keep asking questions to learn more about the park's past. As USGS scientists dig deeper into Yellowstone's volcanic history, they hope to solve its mysteries. By understanding the park's past, they hope to learn how it affects our world today and how to keep people safe from future volcanic activity. Underneath Yellowstone's stunning scenery are hidden secrets that was revealed long ago. Yellowstone's first fury, the explosion, 2.1 million years ago. Imagine a scene where the sky bursts into fiery explosions while the ground shakes with great force. Nature's powerful energy shaping and changing the landscape with both strength and beauty. Such a sight would be unforgettable, showing the incredible power of Yellowstone's volcanoes. But beneath this stunning surface are hidden secrets waiting to be discovered. Scientists explore Yellowstone's volcanic heart to uncover the mysteries of the magma chamber below. Recent research has revealed a complex structure with not just one, but two magma chambers stacked on top of each other. The upper chamber contains thick, slow-moving magma, lying around 3 to 10 miles below the surface. Below it is a deeper chamber of more fluid magma, spanning 15 to 30 miles wide. These two types of magma create an interesting mix of molten rock. Looking back in time, we see the dramatic history of Yellowstone's volcanoes. 2 million years ago, powerful eruptions shaped the land. 3 major explosions, the first happening 2.1 million years ago, created a huge crater in the Earth's surface. Following eruptions, including a big one 1.3 million years ago near Idaho's Island Park, continued Yellowstone's volcanic story. Then, 631,000 years ago, the massive Yellowstone caldera formed, showing the incredible forces at work. It's surprising to learn that Yellowstone's ancient eruptions were even bigger than the famous Mount St. Helens explosion of 1980. These ancient eruptions millions of years ago were thousands of times more powerful than Mount St. Helens. The size and strength of these ancient events are hard to imagine, far surpassing anything seen in modern times. The ash and debris from these eruptions covered large parts of western North America. The effects of these eruptions weren't just felt near Yellowstone, but reached far across the continent. The ash and debris thrown into the air during these huge events would have traveled around the world, changing weather and climate for many years. After these eruptions, the land would have been devastated, with lava rivers and poisonous gas clouds covering everything. It would have been a harsh and barren place, difficult for any living creatures to survive. But life slowly came back to Yellowstone. Plants grew in the ash-covered soil, and animals returned, getting used to the tough conditions left by the volcanoes. Today you can still see the marks left by these ancient eruptions in Yellowstone. The tall mountains, deep valleys, and bubbling geysers all show the park's volcanic past. As the hot rock cooled down, it formed layers of volcanic rock in the ground. These layers, like the Huckleberry Ridge and the Mesa Falls, tell the story of Yellowstone's fiery past. The land sank in places where the hot magma came out, making the big holes called calderas that you see today. Since those big eruptions, Yellowstone has had more than 80 smaller ones. Some were quiet, with lava just flowing inside the caldera, while others were more explosive, happening outside the park. Each of these events changed the land a little bit, showing how restless Yellowstone's volcanic heart is. But even when things seem calm, the possibility of more eruptions is always there, a reminder of what lies under the ground. Imagine a big explosion in Yellowstone, like the one that made Crater Lake in Oregon. But under this grand sight lies a problem. Yellowstone could have a big problem. Continue to discover the mystery. The threat of explosive blasts in Yellowstone. Imagine a colossal explosion in Yellowstone, similar to the one that formed Crater Lake in Oregon long ago. It created a huge caldera, now holding Yellowstone Lake's west thumb. But hidden beneath this grand sight lies a troubling truth. Yellowstone faces a potential disaster. Hydrothermal blasts, a menacing danger lurking beneath Yellowstone's surface, pose a constant threat to the park. These sudden eruptions of superheated water underground have happened in Yellowstone for thousands of years. With blasts wider than 100 meters, they release immense energy, causing widespread damage. Though rare, occurring roughly every 700 years, hydrothermal blasts remind us of Yellowstone's volatile nature. The possibility of these eruptions causing havoc to the landscape and ecosystems worries scientists and park authorities. The aftermath of hydrothermal blasts spreads beyond Yellowstone, scattering ash, gas, magma, and debris across large parts of the United States. Sometimes, their effects reach as far as Louisiana, showing how Yellowstone's geological activity impacts distant areas. The destructive force of hydrothermal blasts is immense. They eject scalding water, steam, and rocks, causing widespread destruction and endangering lives and property. Scientists are still unsure about what triggers hydrothermal blasts, but think changes in underground pressure and temperature may play a role. As water heats up and expands below the surface, it can build up pressure on the surrounding rocks, leading to a sudden release of energy. One of Yellowstone's most notable hydrothermal blasts happened in 1989 at the Norris Geyser Basin. It sent scalding water and steam high into the air, shattering nearby trees and hurling rocks, showing how destructive these events can be. Recent advancements in monitoring technology help scientists detect signs of upcoming hydrothermal activity better. Instruments like seismographs and thermal cameras provide valuable data to predict and lessen the impact of these explosive events. The aftermath of these colossal events shows nature's immense rage without any preference. Whole forests, mountains, and all in their way were swallowed by the chaos, leaving desolate lands marked by the empty remains of once mighty calderas. Yet, the possibility of future disaster remains significant, a silent guard watching over Yellowstone's sleeping giants. Though another massive earthquake might seem unlikely, the potential consequences are significant. The Yellowstone Volcano Observatory alerts about the growing chance of steam and hot water volcanoes, signs of future eruptions that could cause destruction unseen for thousands of years. While these eruptions are less damaging than those with molten lava, they indicate Yellowstone's restless nature. Lava flows, once defining Yellowstone's fiery past, now rest inactive, their fiery arms cooled by time. However, the scars they left on the land persist, engraved into the bedrock, forming the base of this unstable landscape. Near the Upper Geyser Basin's cliffs, remnants of these ancient flows remind us of Yellowstone's turbulent history. As scientists stay watchful over this restless land, the possibility of Yellowstone awakening draws nearer. While the dormant forces below have slept for ages, their quiet doesn't guarantee eternal peace. A Yellowstone eruption's effects would be devastating, causing destruction far beyond the park's boundaries. Communities near this sleeping giant would descend into chaos as gas, ash, rocks, and volcanic mudflows destroy everything. Society itself would unravel as essential services fail against nature's anger. Despite the uncertainty, there's hope that with watchfulness and readiness, we can lessen the risks from Yellowstone's volatile core. What can we do to get ready if Yellowstone's big explosion happens? Share your thought down below. Hit like and subscribe for more cool stuff like this.